Since millennials are earning less than their parents did despite being more trained educated, what can they do differently in life to have the same level of financial success? Any of the industries that the media wails about millennials killing? Let them die. Media claims that millennials are killing beer. Would never let that happen. Get a trade job. Lots of them are hurting for people and they pay really well. Just throwing this out there, I don't think I'm going to have kids. It's not totally a financial decision, but that was part of our justification when my fiance and I discussed it. We live in a really expensive city and although I'm making a good yearly income on paper, most of it goes back into my business, then a lot of it goes to taxes, rent, groceries, and other expenses. Not saying everyone should think the way I do, but it's worth considering. Be realistic about your ability to pay off the amount of student loans you want to take out based on the expected salary you'll earn when graduating with that degree. $60K in loans to get a sociology degree? Sure, that's fine. $200K in loans? Not sustainable. I would say $60K for a sociology degree is too much as well, but I am sure some people can make it work. If you have a spouse, one of you should get a safe job with smaller pay, and the other one should go all out taking risks, be it in the corporate world or as an entrepreneur. People who succeeded in the corporate world took great risks in being aggressive when going head to head against competition. Do not allow for lifestyle inflation to creep up because then you take away your ability to risk. Live within your means, but don't forget to enjoy life here and there. I'm frugal with my purchases, but I'm not going to eliminate all my entertainment and never ever eat at a restaurant just to save some money. I'll keep a subscription I love using all the time, and I'll treat myself to a meal I would never make here or there. What's the point of financial success if you're completely miserable while getting there? Most of all, everybody has a different situation and it's up to you to work with it the best you can. Make sure to take advantage of the help you can get along the way, and be gracious about it, or even give back yourself in good time. Vote. Millennials think they're sending a protest by not voting. You're just giving government permission to ignore you. Just vote for the least crappy person. If every millennial did that, we'd get insane amounts of attention. Shun the traditional life milestones that have been forced down our throats. Graduate high school, then saddle yourself with college debt, find a spouse, home kid, etc. We've been advised to set ourselves up by coming from behind while also trying to navigate through the naivety of youth. Our society, USA here, has been prosperous for the previous generation but has become our burden. Find something that will pay now, that you can build upon for a few years. Work hard, represent yourself well in order to move up and make connections. Trades will always be in demand. In the meantime, research what will be useful 5-10 years from now and start doing self-study. Everything is being computer driven these days. Branch off of that. Be smart with your money. Saving alone is not enough. Find a way to make it grow. 401k and match your employer. IRA. Savings accounts that add interest monthly. I know you want a vacay in Cancun this coming spring, but you may wanna settle on taking a few days off PTO and spend some time enjoying simple entertainment. Wanna get rich quick? So do I. Let me know what you come up with. This strat isn't fancy or exciting, but neither is the vast majority of everyday life, and that's fine. I agree with your premise, however. The traditional life milestones that you mentioned are definitely a good route for a lot of people. I think the issue is that everyone thinks this is what they have to do, which is not at all true. It won't work for everyone. I am pretty sure this is what you meant, but I wanted to point it out to be clear. Borrow $1 million from your parents to start your own business. It's what every successful person does. That's such a small loan. Leverage the advantages you do have. Sure, we can't just walk into an office building with good intentions and a resume and walk out with a job that will support a family of 4. But our parents couldn't log on to LinkedIn and instantaneously access a worldwide network of information, opportunities and recruiters. Likewise, When they wanted to develop new skills, they had to hope that the local community college had a relevant night class that fit their work schedule. Meanwhile, we have access to an infinite array of 24/7 learning opportunities from the world's best universities. While millennials face many unique challenges in today's job market, they also have unique advantages in terms of both training and employment. Speaking from experience, if you have any aptitude or interest in computers whatsoever, learn more about it. Go to a community college and take a couple of classes on computer networking or programming. The classes are often inexpensive enough for you to determine if you like it or hate it. If you end up liking it, the rabbit hole goes much deeper. One piece of advice, though, you must continually sharpen your skills and stay ahead of the curve. This is the passion requirement that a lot of jobs have. 20 years ago, it was totally possible to have an entire career doing help desk or just general IT support, but now, you've got to keep evolving. If that sounds challenging, it's because it is. The flip side is that the rewards can be outstanding. I specialize in a specific part of information security known as penetration testing, and I love my job. The pay is great, the work is fun, and the perks regarding side jobs are phenomenal. If you're interested, please feel free to PM me and I can try to point you in a useful direction. I've always wanted to try out pen testing. I'm already a software engineer working in the defense industry, so I'm probably halfway there. Eliminate half the educated population. There. Perfectly balanced. Whoa, calm down, Thanos. If you can, go overseas. Native English speakers can make insanely good money teaching English overseas, especially if you have the proper certifications and prior teaching experience. Most people think of China for this, and that is the biggest market, but there are a lot of countries willing to pay very handsome salaries for English teachers. Unfortunately, it's not always going to be the most desirable countries. Apparently Uzbekistan pays particularly well, and you need to be dang careful about scams. But it's still one of the great ironies of the modern world that if you want to achieve the American dream, the best way to make it happen is to move to a third world fascist crap hole. Keeping in mind that a bachelor's degree is usually a requirement, at least for most of the offers I have seen lately. Create value. Figure out what is missing in your field and learn to do it. Everyone has an education, so you have to find the things an education doesn't teach you. If you make your company money, you'll be irreplaceable and have more leverage. Unless you signed an intellectual property clause in your employment contract and they can advance a legal claim to whatever solution you found and then fire you so they don't have to adjust your compensation based on it. Always read your contract thoroughly so you know how they can frick you over. Invest monthly and passive in a world-based ETF. Frick that. Stick to USA. Crappy labor laws equals booming stock prices. I do a lot of do-it-yourself projects to save money and to get a higher quality than you can usually buy in the US now. Last coffee table I bought was a cheap particle board worthless thing with horrid ceiling on it. Spent $200 on it thinking I was getting a good quality table that would last longer than the IKEA one I had in college. Friend forgot to put his drink on the coaster and destroyed that table in an afternoon. I watched a few YouTube videos on how to build a coffee table out of 2x4 boards and just did that one weekend for around $50, and the table I made was not going to start falling apart if someone made the same mistake as my friend. Being able to build or fix something on your own saves a lot of money. Only other thing I can put is not to eat out a lot. It's more expensive than you realize. Luck. The more starting wealth you have, the less luck you'll need. Or, if you're really stubborn, dig your heels in and spend your life advocating for the economic and working reforms that could help sort things out. Live below their means and save every extra penny. Cheap phone, prepaid plan. Don't need a new one every year or two. No entertainment subscriptions like PS Plus, Netflix, Spotify, cable. Don't eat out. Grocery shop at places with deals. Shop around for the best ones. No impulse buying or unnecessary purchases. Shoot for energy efficiency at home by weatherproofing, unplugging, keeping the thermostat at a reasonable level. Don't take trips, vacations, go to conventions, or waste gas and money. It's bulls that it's so hard to get by now, but it is possible to do so. We're not going to prosper like generations before us. They made sure of that, but we can survive. Alright there, Buster. Don't you dare take away my Spotify premium. Don't spend money you don't have. I could be wrong, but I am pretty sure that millennials are top class at this. Vote for politicians that have their interests in mind. Don't have kids. First of all, cut the cynical attitude, as seen in other comments here. It won't help you and never will. Second point, focusing on expenses is important, but not enough. Here are some pointers for income. When applying for jobs, do not underestimate the importance of networking. I can't stress this enough. Don't fling your CV every which way expecting much of a response. Going to conventions or talking to people in the industry is much more important. I can't stress this enough. There is a reason this is my first point. Never stop looking for jobs, even if you think you're comfortable. If you find something else, go to your employer and ask for a raise. You either get it or you don't, but at least you have a backup. If you need to go job hunting, you're already too late. Focus on high-paying jobs that are close enough to your interest. If it's not your exact dream job, but it earns well, is good enough, and in reach, go for that. In the end, a job is a job. You might, and probably will end up hating it, but at least you'll be in a comfy position to do so. You can always look further from there. It's better to stand on the levee and look for the hill, than it is to stand in the wet, looking for the mountain. Unionize and otherwise organize for collective workers' rights. Walmart is notorious for closing down stores that unionize. Let's make them close them all. Go back in time. Start out rich. Those are the only two options. Don't be silly. We can't afford DeLoreans. Plan your purchases and don't buy stupid stuff. I just plan to buy stupid stuff and now my apartment is full of truly bizarre things. I started working in 1986 in software development with a 4-year computer science degree for $21K. Curious, what are they making now? Is it really less than that? Don't take on expensive student loans to bust your butt through school for a degree only to not get a job afterwards. Work experience. Work experience. Work experience. One tip that was given to me, and is something I've lived by, as a millennial, when I've had a job, I've never settled. If I did not like the job, in any way, shape or form, I'd look for another job, but not just an equal title pay job. Never move sideways, always move up. If your resume has skill 1, 2, 3, but job is looking for 1, 2, 3, 4, apply for it anyway. Most often, you will get it, and now you have learned a new skill. Stay there for a while, and get the job that is looking for skills 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Keep doing that until you find where you are happy. Most millennials are in the 25-35 range already, so all the advice aimed at high school college age kids is really not that helpful. I'm sure most millennials would love to go back in time and choose a different major, not take out loans, etc, but that's not really reasonable. What you can do: 1. Don't be embarrassed to work a second job if you need to. Waiting tables can bring in serious extra cash that can be used to pay down debt and save for the future. I've found restaurants love having someone like me on staff because I'm an adult with years of work experience, versus the college kids they are usually dealing with, resulting in choice Y schedule shifts. 2. Don't buy a house because you have to. Too many people right now are buying way out of their budgets because they feel pressured to hit adult milestones, especially since a lot of millennials are living in the city versus the small towns. It's not gonna be pretty next recession. 3. Be open to living in B or C rate cities. Most small or mid-sized cities have a lot of the same amenities as big cities at a much cheaper rate. They still have decent jobs and museums and breweries and whatnot. Things millennials like, but way cheaper costs on housing, etc. 4. It's okay to not have kids, or have less kids if that is what is affordable to you. You don't owe anyone grandchildren. 5. Save for retirement, even if it's a measly amount a month. Don't hope Social Security will magically be saved by the time you get there. 6. Vote. FFS vote. Millennials are terrible at getting to the polls. Have been since they started coming of age. No politicians care much about our financial situation because we don't vote. Put pressure on them to start seriously working towards things we need, like a secure retirement, affordable childcare, affordable healthcare, livable wages, climate change. I don't think we can. There's some best practices though. If you're renting, have a roommate. If you own your home, rent out a room or suite, legally. Have a budget and stick to it. My budget has a chunk reserved for savings and also investments. Two different things. Own property if you can. Don't increase your budget as your income goes up unless you were restricting needs before. I pretty much set a budget and stuck to it. The only budget I increased was for rent because I moved to a major city. Otherwise the excess goes into a third savings account that acts like a buffer until I'm sure there really is that extra money and it can be allocated to the high interest savings or investments. Always have a buffer. Addressing sudden issues is expensive and is more expensive if you can't immediately address it. Don't invest willy-nilly in the stock market unless you're willing to lose that money. Generally, in the stock market, big returns require either big investment or long-term vesting. If you want your money to earn interest safely but still accessible in the near term, put it in CDs or bonds. Work together to build mutual aid-based communities and await the death of the capitalist monster. Yeah, capitalism is really horrible. It's the worst economic system except for every single other one. You can always sell drugs or hold up liquor stores. I second this. This is a great way to learn risk management and start off a career in security assessment. Wait it out. The money has to go somewhere once the generation before us retires, dies. If you're going to go the college route, pick a degree with a specific job in mind, not the other way around. Music ministry, actual degree at the $45k a year private school I went to, or social activism seem novelty, but won't likely pay huge dividends. Also, weigh your costs versus yield once a career path is chosen. I accrued a substantial amount of debt in school, but got a job on healthcare where I can pay it down. Focus on getting rid of debt and instead of using credit cards, pay yourself by putting the equivalent of a credit card payment into a separate checking or savings account. Except for emergencies, don't buy anything that takes more than 6 months to save for. Max out your 401k now, live in the city for a bit and ditch the car, along with the payments, insurance, and inflated gas prices. If you're single and child free, maybe even try moving to a different city, both for the cost of living and the experience. Learn to cook instead of eating out so much. Develop some hobbies that allow you to create instead of consume something. Your movie TV gaming habit is an economic vampire. Volunteer. Your parents' generation just took with abandon. Give a little back by helping people less fortunate. It's personally fulfilling and besides, the high tide raises all boats. Game the system, or prey on the weak. The most successful are doing it, with few repercussions. I could use some help with this because I prey on the weak but still am poor. Seize the means of production. Vote. Change the current system that has bent us over. All I see are a bunch of individual solutions to a societal problem. How about asking why we've accepted the idea that financial success is successful in any sense? If you are new to the channel, you can subscribe. I publish new videos every day. Until then, check another video. Bye for now.